Hi everyone, I'm Linda Braun, the YALSA CE consultant, and I'm here with Josie Watanabe, who is going to be teaching our next e-course, and it's on leadership. And I wanted Josie to introduce herself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the course and about leadership. So Josie, tell everyone who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Josie Watanabe and I'm a learning librarian at the Seattle Public Library. So what I do is I coach librarians and I develop curriculum and I work with librarians on a continual program quality improvement cycle. So that's a lot of what I do, and I'm a program manager. So I support the formal learning programs, which are tied to the Seattle Public Schools, Common Core state standards, and pretty much everything academic.
Right, so can you just say, now this was not in our script or our notes, but so you said continuous program improvement. Can you just explain a little bit to people what that is? Because they're going to go, oh, that sounds interesting too. So
Yeah.
can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's taken from the program quality assessment. And it basically is, the idea is that your programs are always in a circular cycle of improvement. So you're constantly assessing them, evaluating them, and figuring out ways to make them better.
Great, thank you.
So that's what I coach librarians to do.
I love that. That's awesome. Which also brings in leadership skills, I think, because when you're coaching librarians, you have to be a leader. And also when you're thinking about program quality, you have to be a leader. So I'm really excited you're teaching the basic leadership course that we're starting for the first time as an e-course.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the layers of leadership, and really how the layers of leadership are also very circular, and how you can move up and down depending on where you are, your knowledge and understanding, and the culture of your organization. We're also going to talk a lot about cultural humility. I am firmly grounded in race and equity and social justice, and so I use cultural humility and cultural responsive facilitation techniques in pretty much everything I do. So we're going to really look at that and how it relates to leaders and your leadership style and how you facilitate groups.
I love when you just said that about cultural humility and responsiveness, because I think that all starts with knowing yourself and understanding where you are within these frameworks and then working with others to help them. So actually, I also think this might seem weird, but can you define how you're defining cultural humility?
Yeah, well, cultural humility is really the idea of understanding your own biases, understanding who you are, and also understanding that it is fluid. So that knowledge and understanding yourself is really fluid and based on the situation and the environment, and you never will really know yourself, but it's always how do you continue that path towards knowing yourself.
Yeah, I love that, which fits perfectly with the layers of leadership and just all of this work that you've been doing and we've been trying to do in YALSA and things like that. So I'm curious, and again, I didn't write this down, so this might be a question that's
okay.
Not something you're ready to answer, but how do you think you developed as a leader?
I really felt the way that I became a leader is through community organizations. So as a teen services librarian, I was always given a specific role. Librarians are pretty set in their roles and what you can do and who you can work with. And so how I decided to kind of grow my leadership was really work outside my organization and learn, because the culture of a library could be very static. It could be a very specific culture, and there's so many other cultures of leadership and communication out there. And sometimes the communities, the way that they run their groups and the way that they run their collaborative, projects, some of their examples are the best examples of leadership that I've been in contact with. So really stepping outside of my organization and not giving up on my leadership goals, but just finding a different way to build those skills.
Love that part, seeing your outline of the course. I love all of that, working with the community and going out and learning about yourself and about leadership through how you connect with your community and other organizations and collaborate.
Yeah, and I think always being willing, and this is part of cultural humility too, always being willing to look outside and at other ways of doing things. Even if you weren't at a library, if you're at another organization, just understanding that this is a particular culture that you're getting. but there's lots of other different ways to do things. And so kind of going outside of that and finding all of the best practices is really helpful.
Yeah, that's really great. You know, I'm remembering that when I first met you, you were telling me about were you about to be president of the Seattle Tutoring Coalition?
Oh, chair.
Yeah, right, chair. And that was just, I think that's a really interesting leadership story too, right? About how that happened. And
well, you know, actually, I think the first organization that I really did this with was the University District Service Providers Alliance and the U District when I was the team services librarian. And they operated in such a different way than library culture. And I thought, wow, they're so, you know, the way that they led, the way that they built power for the group, how they, you know, really facilitated group voice and group understanding. And really it was a very collective and cooperative effort, taught me a lot about leadership.
Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect example of the kinds of things you're going to be talking about and asking people to think about. So that's great. And then in layer 2, leading others, you're going to be, I love that somewhere in your description that you sent, it says something about leading others even when you don't have power, right? So do you have any thoughts or ideas about how you're going to talk about that with the group?
Yeah, so I think the work of a librarian is often through working with your peers. You know, so how do you lead others and how do you empower your peers or your staff and build their voice and spotlight their accomplishments? Because that really helps you lead. So I think the best leaders are always the ones who can adapt their own leadership style and understand how they operate so they can switch and adapt to the group's needs. Yeah. So how do you empower your the group? That's the best way to lead.
Yeah, I love that. I always think about how you can lead by making sure other people can do what they need to do. Sort of what you're saying, right, is like empower them to do whatever they need to do in order to get the job done. I love that. That's really great. I'm so excited about this. So why do you think it's important for teen library staff or others to take a class like this?
Well, I think it really starts with how you operate within your library. So you can learn a lot of skills and, you know, really build up your leadership and communication skills outside the library.
Anything else you think people who are thinking about taking the course should know or you'd like to say?
You know, I think kind of what I said in the beginning, I believe that the work that we do with the public is very important, you know, delivering the best customer service and always really looking at how we can continue and improve the work that we do for our patrons. And I'm firmly grounded in race and equity and social justice, and that will be a large part of, I think, the thread that goes through layers 1 and 2.
It's going to be a really good experience for people in the classes to actually be integrating those not structures, but ideas and values and ethics into the work that they're going to be doing. It's really
and that's definitely something I'm practicing and really want to move more in that direction.
That's great.
So.
Yay. Well, thank you, Josie. Anyone who wants to sign up, the information is going to be on the screen so you can register and read more about the class. 4 weeks of awesomeness on leadership. Thanks, Josie.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Bye.
Bye.